Dave told me he got in a little trouble over the weekend. What's happening, David?
Nothing. Well, it was my grandmother's 95th birthday.
Wow, 95 years young.
Unbelievable.
Just wonderful, huh?
And she's such
mom's dad, dad's mother, who was it?
It's my mom's mom.
Yeah, what'd I say? Mom's dad? No. It's the dad or mom?
It's my mom's mother.
And what do you call her?
I call her Grandma. A very original name.
Hello, Grandma. Do you remember me? Dave.
Yeah, I guess it's not very original, but, what can you do?
It's better than having a peepaw or whatever these stupid people call their folk.
She probably calls you David.
She does. She always thought I looked like David Cohn as well. So
really, the guy who jacked off in the
Mets bullpen there.
So maybe that's why she thinks you look like him. You both have your dicks out and just working it.
It's true. So I sent her a card, on Tuesday or something, and it arrived to her house, her apartment on Saturday. She still lives by herself.
Still lives alone?
Yeah.
Over in Jersey?
Mm-hmm. She
listening to Springsteen albums?
No, but she's very, self-sufficient. So I thought she was just going to open up the card by herself, maybe at her little favorite diner that she always goes to. I didn't realize she was going to be opening up in front of my parents. And the card was one of those wacky cards, I admit. And the front of it said, you may be getting up there. And then you open it up, and it said, but I know the fire's still burning. And there was a picture of two scantily clad firemen, just with fire hats and suspenders on with big, huge hoses. They did have little tiny briefs, but I thought that would be fun. It was very oily.
It would be cute, and here's something sexy even though you're 95.
Yeah, she grew up in the roaring 20s.
Sure.
And I thought she'd like a little fire and a little, hot men there. And when she opened it up, of course, it was with my mom on Sunday dinner pot roast. And my mom is so unbelievably pissed off at me, thinking I'm a degenerate and everything like that, and was basically saying, how could you possibly send this to Grandma? She's totally innocent here. And I said,
she's not totally innocent. She lived a life. And it's like a fun little card.
It's a fun card. She's a drinker. She's one of the most fun women I've ever met.
It's not like you wrote to her, dear Grandma, how's your dried up old gas? You're saying, look, here, you're still involved, fireman.
The fire.
I am never on your side, and I see nothing wrong with this.
Really? Thank you.
I know. You would think that I would yell at you. Yeah. I just think all cards stink, and there's nothing wrong with that one.
The selection of birthday cards is so pitiful.
Oh, it's awful.
You can't get anything good, so I thought sweat hot sex for Grandma. And she's...
Because it's the exact opposite of what everybody else would do.
Yeah.
I think it's fine.
She's hip.
Why don't you tell your mother to mind her own business?
I can't say that to Mommy.
Why not? You're 28.
Mommy's like...
She's taking you shopping, and she yells at you for inappropriate cards.
But my mom is like a mini version of Grandma, so I love them both. So if I
give her the same card on her birthday, then.
Well, no, because my grandfather passed away, so my mom doesn't need men in her life. She's got Daddy.
Yeah. So why don't you write to your grandmother, remember when your husband was alive?
No, I can't do that.
Yeah. Oh. Earl sent a slave thing to his grandmother.
Oh, I did not.
Scantily clad.
And then my mom gets mad after the card. She goes, Wally and Mark gave her a DVD player.
Well, yeah, that would be nice.
Well, they're also 10 years older than I am and can afford stuff.
And it has nothing to do with age. Most people 28 can come up with a present. Why don't you give her a beautiful Anderson Cooper book?
I'd love to give her Anderson Cooper. She actually watches television all the time. She watches Conan.
I know. She's got that DVD player, though.
She watches Conan, thinking Eastside Dave's on TV.
Mike, you're on Run of Fez.
Hey, Dave. When it comes to pornography, you can share that with your friends, but you can't share it with your family. The only thing you can share with your family is a prostitute, and then it's only with your wife or your siblings.
I really don't see the big deal.
The fire's still burning.
It's like a cute, stupid card. There was no balls showing. There was no reason to get upset. Bob, you're on Run of Fez.
Yeah, Ron. The thing is that Dave's grandma beat the odds, made it to a ripe old age of 95, and her cheap bastard of a grandson spends $2 on a Hallmark card.
What do you want to get someone who's 95?
Honestly, what can you get?
What are you going to get, a razor? What are you going to fucking get?
I think my fireman card was better than my brother's DVD player because she's never going to figure out how to get that thing plugged in.
The only thing that you can give somebody that old is jelly. Here's some jellies. All different jellies.
And she's a quintessential grandmother. She still has hard candy. It's like every stereotype of a grandma. She has that old woman perfume and fur coats. And
right.
Look at my new fur coat. And she likes brooches and
Just
shit.
drinking Tillamoor one after another. Smoking Pall Malls in the living room.
Like, is there one stereotype that you don't fulfill?
My Davy was hard as nails. And he didn't get that from his father. Just some Irish woman, just tough as hell. We used to sleep on the docks next to the fishmongers. I know those old ladies.
Yeah, she's the best. She always says,
let me tell you, there wasn't a single doctor for a Catholic in those days. And those English fuckers knew it. Oh, how they hate the English.
Yeah. And she goes, is there any way I can hear you on the Ron and Fred show? And I say, no, you have to pay for it. I'm not paying for it.
Did you correct
I'm not
her?
paying for it. Give me a CD.
The hell with that. When I got to this country, we never paid for a goddamn thing, and I ain't about to start.
And then I used to work overnights at a radio station, and I would say, she goes, when can I listen to you? And I would say, you can listen to me, well, I'm on midnight to 5. And I know you watch Conan, so that's perfect. I have to watch Conan. That's when I watch Conan, and then I go to bed. She wouldn't choose me over Conan.
They have a fucking thing that they're into. 3 shots of Tillamoor, 2 Pall Malls. They pass out setting up.
And she calls Letterman a goofball. I'm like, how come you always watch Conan and not Letterman? Letterman's a goofball. Don't care for him. Lots of yelling, lots of just nonsense with Letterman.
There was a story about a colored guy who raped a girl. Where is it? They always have some horror story. They want to bring... Did you see about that lady who drowned her babies?
They actually took her to Yankee Stadium last summer, and this was swear to God, she wasn't, exaggerating or anything like that. She proudly gets up and says to, like, the whole section, last time I was here, Lou Gehrig was over at first base. And it's like, wait a second.
Well, you ought to get out more then, old lady. There's no reason for you to go to a game once every 50 years.
No, that's her fault.
Right.
They invited her, by the way, for 25 years, so...
Last time I was in a movie, it was Pete Kelly's Blues. Unbelievable. So you did nothing wrong this time, believe it or not.
Thank you. Well, I'm trying to give her some joy. I'm trying to mix it up.
Get her some jams and jellies. Anything sweet she can put on her Melba toast in the morning.
My grandmother died when she was almost 99, and I think
You took that well.
Not really. And I think every gift for the last 10 years of her life was either slippers or cheese.
And wait, and how hokey are those cards where it's like from your grandson in huge cursive, and there's like a print background of a beach behind it, and it's like, you are such a wonderful one. It's so fucking insincere.
My gimmick is, if anybody gives me one of those cards, I read it out loud and act like my voice is cracking because it's so fucking bad. And I always turn it over and go like this. Oh my God, $3.45. You never should have. Oh, you got a better deal than if you were in Canada. What a fucking waste of money. $4 now.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Mine was $4.25 for the little fireman exhibition.
You throw in another $196, you can get her a nice little DVD player.
My grandmother always likes those sentimental cards, but the ones that say a grandmother is a blessing from God.
Do you have any grandparents left now?
No, all gone.
Now it's gone. You, Earl?
Mine are all gone.
Yeah. So you're lucky.
Just one, down to one.
Just got the single, huh?
And she seems very youthful. I mean, she takes a walk around the lake.
Yeah, she's very useful. She's 95.
But I mean, she's able to walk around the lake and stuff. And you know what she does sometimes? She will leave church, Saturday afternoon church at 4:00 in the afternoon,
and go blow up a public school bus
because she doesn't want to get into a cab. she'll actually go into strangers' cars and say,
And shit.
no, she goes, "Are you my grandson, David? I don't see so well." And yeah, like
To get people to drive her home?
the driver, like a half a mile away, she'll get into strangers' cars. And the reason why is because I just got a new car. I go, "There's my fucking grandma over there." I picked her up. She hopped in the back seat and goes, "Oh, do you know my grandson, David? He was going to pick me up." And she didn't realize it was me because she does have vision problems. And I go, "Grandma, what are you doing?" And we learned she told us her whole con job of getting people to give her a ride home by just hopping in their car sporadically.
Wow. That's scary.
That is, she doesn't care at all.
I am, but some people out there, they rape the elderly. Read a fucking paper. They rape the elderly.
And she does that at the ice cream store. She goes to the ice cream store and says, it's too long of a walk back. Can one of you, and she asks the 15-year-olds or 17-year-old kids working behind the stand at the ice cream shop to give her a ride home.
One of these days, they're going to hit her over the head with a lamp and take what little she has.
She only has M&Ms.
At her house?
Yes.
I bet there is some jar in there with at least $600 in. I guarantee it. 866-RON-0-FEZ, 866-RON-0-FEZ. Now, I had an uncle, my grandfather's brother, down in Eddystone. He'd go out, get fucking hammered, right? Call the cops, say, take me home. He used to use the local cops as a taxi service, and they would fucking take him.
They had no problem with it.
What are they going to do?
I think that's really the one good thing about age. It's like you don't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah, you don't care. Every cop looks like a kid to you. The president looks like a kid. You realize that the whole country's the wheels come off.
Yeah.
So you stop caring.
And you're not going to get arrested. You basically go ahead, arrest me. Take me to prison.
Right.
I'm 85.
Right.
What are you going to do?
You leave the old lady leaves the house wearing a house coat. She don't give a shit what society wants and doesn't want anymore.
And if the cops did arrest them, they would look like maniacs in the paper. Cops arrest 95-year-old woman.
How are you going to get out of this now, Dave? You going to get another present or another card? Or you just going to let it die off?
I'm going to send a straight-up card. Just the typical grandmother, I love you so much. Your grandson, David.
Sorry, I'm right at the back. Sorry, my funny card wasn't good enough for you.
And I might get her a little pin.
By the way, I hope Conan dies. Why does she love Conan so much?
I don't know.
Is it an Irish thing?
She's
happy to see the Irish do well? Does she like Notre Dame football?
Well, Fez is kind of right. She does like anyone who has red hair because they remind her of me, and so she's like an instant supporter of that.
Like if you were successful.
Exactly.
Like if you weren't such a disappointment.
She loves that CSI Miami with David Caruso.
Loves it.
That's the #1 show in the world right now. CSI Miami.
Really?
Worldwide, yeah. Bigger than any other show exported out here. I have no idea why. Maybe people like murder and they like to see, Miami Beach. But around the world, that's the #1 show.
I've never checked it out.
Tom, you're on Fez.
Yeah, Ronnie, man, I was going to say that. I'm 34 years old, man. I still today, when I get a car, the first thing I do is open it up and turn it over. Now, I also want to ask you, we in today with Black Girl?
I didn't even hear what he said. He just faded out.
Here's Matt. Matt, you're on Fez.
Hey, how are you? I just wanted to point out that Dave started the story talking about his grandmother being all old traditional with the hard candy, and then about 2 minutes ago he busts out that she only has M&Ms. He's making this crap up.
That is true. Seriously,
hard candy and M&Ms.
Do not lie.
This is total true.
Ron, you're on Fez.
Hey, Ron, how you doing?
Don't worry about that.
I want to tell you about Nanny Lucy. She's 98 years old. Condos take her to the casino in Connecticut at least twice a month. She runs out of quarters. She cons people throughout the casino into giving them quarters. Begs for quarters.
Begs
at
for
98
quarters.
Years old.
God bless her. God bless her. That's what everyone always says about the elderly. Oh, God bless her heart. I'll go down to Atlantic City, and it's so fucking elderly.
Yeah.
It's awful how they take money from those old people.
That's
just
the
terrible.
point.
Yeah. You know what makes me feel bad? I didn't even realize this. We're bringing up grandparents and all. And I look over and the Flash is there, and he's adopted.
Oh, yeah.
He's like Mickey when he... on the Little Rascals, when they had the father and son picnic, and he just starts crying and goes like this, "You fellas know I ain't got a father." Then later he killed his own wife and got away with it. Got away with it. Grandparents, you know the people that gave you away, Flash?
No, I don't.
Well, you know someone gave you away, right? Someone left you on the doorstep? They have parents. So
yes.
That's what grandparents are.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They're the people who probably gave away the people who gave you away.
So this was a hereditary thing of abandonment.
Maybe, I don't know. I got to explain everything to him like Mark and Mindy. He just doesn't understand how things work. Here is Eric. You're on Fez.
Yeah, hey, Dave was saying his grandmother likes to go for walks around the lake, so you probably appreciated the card he gave. I mean, $20 will blow you in the bushes, is what I hear.
Oh, man, that's awful.
Now, see, that would have been inappropriate.
Jesus Christ.
Bill, you're on Fez.
29875.
Hoo-ah!
Hey, Eastside, did you have to name the firemen Big Cheese and Friendly?
Big Cheese, I sent him a thing for this T-shirt company that sells Big Cheese T-shirts. You going to pick one up?
I ordered it already. 15 days. 15 days. My big is bright yellow with the guy just sawing cheese. And it says Big Cheese. It's the best.
Did you tell your chick about this yet?
No. No, I haven't.
You never tell her that you told us?
No, I won't be doing that anytime soon whatsoever.
Why?
It would be uncomfortable if she knew these things,
Hey, this is a weird story. I got a friend in Daytona Beach. They go to a restaurant the other day, right? They pull up, and there's, pulling up behind them, 6 midgets on motorcycles. So it's a motorcycle midget thing, right? They get out of their car. The fucking midgets walk up to them and go like this. You cut us off over there? Starts giving them fucking shit. The whole family got back in the car and drove away. They got chased away from a restaurant by a midget motorcycle gang.
This is the weirdest thing I've ever heard in my life.
In Daytona, it's not so weird. Daytona, that's normal. Oh, by the way, for Mike Zito, Daytona is Sturgis with a beach. If there was something to do with Sturgis, it would be Daytona.
I actually agree with that. I would be horrified with midgets. I'm very frightened of them. I'd rather see a gigantic person than a midget any day of the week. They scare the shit out of me.
Why do they scare you?
The fingers are just too thick, and everything about them. Their thighs, if you ever get close to...
All right, now you're talking about a dwarf.
Am I, or is it...
Yeah. When a midget, same size, everything's in proportion. Dwarf, you got that big torso, big man-sized cock.
It just seems like they have some evil powers somehow.
What evil powers exist in this magical place that you live?
If they're so cursed to be pint-sized...
Whoever said they were cursed?
I'm saying it. I'm saying that if they're made small, they have to have some sort of attribute that makes them powerful in some kind of... I'm just telling you. I'm pretty sure that they probably have psychic powers. Or
Are you
something.
afraid you're going to catch dwarfism?
No, I just...
Now, what is the term that we use now?
Small people?
Little people.
Little people
is the term. To me, the thing about that is you might as well just call them babies. It's just, I don't think I would want to be called a little person.
That's what you are, You're little. I mean,
I mean they go out of it because they hated the other term, dwarf.
How about minis? They should probably be called minis because now that I think, Danny DeVito's a little person.
Yeah, he is, but he's not a midget, right? Or a dwarf,
right?
So
he's at the cutoff. He's like what, 4'9"?
Yeah, 4'11", I think.
No way is he 4'11".
Oh, I thought so. I'm pretty sure.
Flash, see if you can look up height on Danny DeVito.
4'9".
I think he's closer to 4'9" than 4'11".
I wonder, I'd like to know what is the cutoff of when you're medically or officially declared a midget.
Yeah.
And I bet Danny DeVito doesn't make the cutoff. I bet he is considered a midget.
No, he definitely isn't. Because I think he was asked before on a talk show. He got fucking upset about it. I think, if you see midgets or even handicapped people, I say stare at them and make them feel like celebrities. Sometimes I'll even go over and ask if they'll sign something.
See, I don't think it makes them feel like celebrities.
Why would you feel like a celebrity?
I think you would feel like, oh my God, someone's staring at me because of my medical disability.
Right. Celebrating it.
According to IMDb, Danny DeVito is 5 feet even.
Bullshit.
Yeah, see? 4'11", I said.
He's
Price
not.
is Right rules, I win.
You know what? I mean, I'll go 4'11" before ever fucking 5 foot. There's no way in the world he's 5 foot.
I was going to say 4'9".
He was probably
I was going to say 4'9", but...
I mean, here's the thing. You know that he's lying when he says he's 5 feet. And that's really embarrassing.
Maybe he was wearing Doc Martens when he got measured there. He probably cheated somehow.
Well, first of all, no one measures you to get you in the IMDb.
Well, how would you volunteer that information up anyway, then?
Other people write it. You don't.
Well, how would the other people get that stat?
Exactly. That's the fucking point. The point of my anger. My wrath. Peter, you're on Run of Fez.
What kind of bikes were those midgets riding anyway? Mini bikes, mopeds? Just put the car in reverse, stand on it, problem over.
Shark, thank you very much. I did not even check to find out what kind of bikes they had going. And Jenny Q would never call the show, and obviously her husband and her family were embarrassed by this and were setting back.
You could have gotten them bikes made for children and then put adult engines on them. You know, just rewire them, hotwire them. You know,
I'd have fucking jumped into that fray like I was Andre the Giant, just chucking midgets one way or the other.
Choke slammed.
But, 6 of them yelling at you, it would be a little bit fucking scary, I'm sure.
All of it's unnerving. The motorcycles, the fact that they followed you into a restaurant parking lot.
And then also, I probably wouldn't have went into the restaurant anyway, because how can you eat after?
No, their fingers are all everywhere.
What do you mean fingers were everywhere?
Their little midget fingers are everywhere.
Well, they don't go everywhere. They're right there on the end of their hands.
They're dirty little animals.
What do you got? What are you heading for the shock jock thing?
No, they're scary. Trust me.
Well, I've seen them before. I'm not frightened.
Have you seen a pack of them? I mean, I can't believe the horror that would be inflicted on the brain.
Well, I saw The Wizard of Oz, if that means anything to you. By the way, every one of those Midgets is dead now. I think of that every time I watch that show. That entire village has got to be dead.
You can't be too big in this world or too small. You don't get the long lifespan.
Mindy, you're on Run of Fez. I thought it was better to burn out than fade away and just go out as part of the Lollipop League. Go ahead, Mindy.
Hey, guys. I was just going to say that I saw Danny DeVito at a Broadway show several years ago, and I'm 5 foot, and he was about my height.
All right. God, he comes off for some reason looking shorter on TV.
I think Danny DeVito and Mindy are both fibbing about their height.
I wish I wasn't.
Let me just check on this. Did you use the word fibbing?
Yes.
I'm going to tell you a fib a little later. Just a little fib. 866-RON-0-FEZ, 866-RON-0-FEZ.
I wonder how tall Rhea Perlman is.
He towers over her. She's got to be the 4'9".
Well, then...
Yeah, what was I thinking? She would have been like 4'4" if he was 4'9". I was really...
4'4" with the afro, or just...
It's not an afro. You've got to be African to have an afro.
A white afro.
Well, that's... What would afro
what do you call it?
stands for African, right?
Yeah.
So unless you're South African, are the only ones who can say they're white afros. Hey, Bo, you're on Run of Fez.
Hey, Ronnie. How you fezzy? Hey, Ronnie, how many midgets can you beat up at one time?
I'm going to tell you right now, I believe it to be an infinite amount. A fucking infinite amount. And yes, I'm looking at you, Skylo Low, and Bring Little Beaver. I don't give a fuck. CJ, you're on Run of Fez.
Yeah, the CJ.
Yes, that's why I said your name.
Hey, do what? The cutoff for is 5 foot. Anything under 5 foot.
No, that can't be true because look how many women are under 5 foot and they're not midgets. How tall is your sister?
She says 4'10", and I think she's lying. I'd say she's 4'8".
And now, would you consider your sister a midget?
No, I wouldn't consider her a midget.
I don't think people stop and look at her. She's petite. You know what I mean?
It's probably 5 foot for a man, 4'6" for a woman. If I had to make my own ruling...
5 foot? I mean, that seems fucking insane.
I'm saying, if a man is...
But, I mean, you see, like, those little guys all the time.
Right.
And they're not midgets. You know what I mean? Like, you see little Latin guys around town all the time, they got to be in that 5-foot range.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody calls them a midget.
Because that little extra inch makes a difference.
I mean, the midgets that we're talking about are like 3-4 feet tall. Who wants? It's like being the world's tallest midget, 5 foot. You'd be the Shack of midgets.
Well, that at least you have something on your mantle.
Why would you have a mantle?
That you wouldn't be able to reach.
You think they live in some kind of little huts with just the fireplace? Here's Billy. You're on Run Fez.
Hey, what's up, Ronnie?
Yeah.
I was just curious if you asked your friend if any of these small guys got out of a sidecar, on the side of their motorcycle, because I've always wanted to see that, a little guy getting out of a sidecar.
Yeah, that would be fun. I would love to just ride around a sidecar. I've never even fucking gotten one in my life. It looks like the most enjoyable time ever. It's like a go-kart where you don't have to steer.
That'd be a little horrifying, no? I mean, you're so close to the ground, and one screw comes off, and you're done.
You worry a lot, don't you? You sit around and fucking worry. You and Fez ought to bunk together.
We're working on it.
Just constant fears. Jeff, you're on Run and Fez.
Hey, I was just going to say, my sister applied for a midget scholarship one of her teachers had told her about, and on the scholarship it said the cutoff was 5'1".
5'1" is a midget?
That is too tall to be a midget. I don't buy it.
My mom's a midget.
I've
never had any idea this. My mother's a midget.
There has to be a difference between men and women. There has to be. West Side is 5'2".
They have cocks. The men have cocks.
You know what I mean? Midget, men.
There's a good if you have babies with West Side, there's a good chance you're going to have a midget kid.
Redheaded and a midget.
And lefty.
Dave, you're on Run and Fez.
Hey, boys, how you doing today?
Don't worry about us. How you doing?
Freaking peachy, man. Hey, first-time caller, love it. Under 5 foot is called shortness of stature. Dwarfism and midget is genetic.
Right.
So you can have short parents and be a short person, but not be a midget or dwarf. You can just be technically called shortness of stature, and you get that little handicap plaque in your car if you are got to sit on a phone book.
Right. So you could even be 4'7", but you're not a midget if you don't have this genetic thing.
Yeah, man, I dated a broad that was 4'9", and she was technically called short of stature, but she wasn't a dwarf or a midget.
I wonder why they even have to have a technical term for anybody.
I don't know, man. She was this short little broad.
Are in the short of stature mode.
Well, it sounds like what he's saying is that short of stature is just a regular human who is short, but the midgets have the sausage fingers.
Johnny, come on over here. Johnny, you're a tiny little guy. How tall are you right now?
About 5'4".
Oh, God, that's adorable. It's just adorable. A midget, well, you didn't give me anything I can use here, did you? You gave me the terms for it. Yeah, but there's no height on here.
You want a height?
Well, let's just say it says a dwarf is abnormally small person, often having limbs and features not properly proportioned or formed. Oh, I didn't know they weren't formed. Midget, extremely small person who is otherwise normally proportioned, plus it's listed as an offensive term.
All right, so midget and shortness of stature both sound like the same thing.
Two different things. Two different things completely. A short person is not a midget. Kyle, you're on Run Fez.
Hey, buddy, what's going on?
Yeah.
I was wondering what you thought about horse jockeys. Would you consider them midgets?
Excellent point. Tiny little guys, not midgets. They are not. Yeah, they're shortness of stature.
Shortness of stature.
Yeah. But you never think, all jockeys have to be midgets. But all jockeys have to be little. They got to be, under 100 pounds. Yeah. But those guys aren't midgets.
No.
Matter of fact, you couldn't even put a midget up there. A midget would be more like, what's his name, Vern.
Oh, Vern Troy or Mini-Me.
Yeah. He's a midget.
And then what would a dwarf be? I guess the dwarfs are the guys with the real short arms. Because, but the rest of their body, their torsos are normal, and then they have those real short, arms.
They got a big head, big torso, big cock, big man-sized cock, and a tiny little arm.
With a dwarf, I don't know whether their heads are big or are they a normal size head.
Normal size.
Normal size. Okay.
I mean, imagine how big your head would look if we just shrunk your arms up right now.
Actually, I think a lot of dwarfs usually have those big foreheads.
I'm just doing like the T-Rex arms.
So dwarfs look like Dwarf on Golf, whatever that.
No, that's the guy
was.
on his knees.
But that's the way they kind of look like in real life.
No,
because they have the short arms.
It's a man. He has long arms. He's on his knees. That's all. He's put 2 sneakers down and then kneeled on them.
Yeah, it's good representation.
Yeah. Jeremy, you're on Run Fez.
Yeah, I know that the bikers, midget bikers, I heard they were driving big wheels. See you.
Thank you very much, buddy.
A lot of dwarfs have the big foreheads, I think.
They're balding, that's all. Here's Jeff. Jeff, you're on Run Fez.
Hey, Ronnie, you guys were talking about sidecars. I've actually met the guy who owns the world record for laying down in a sidecar.
Quit bragging.
The guy went, I think, close to 300 miles an hour, about 6 inches off the salt flats in a sidecar.
So his record is fastest passenger in history.
Fastest retarded passenger. I just can't imagine how insane you'd have.
300 miles an hour. Now, I've been out to the salt flats. I cannot begin to tell you how dry it is out there. I don't even know why. I can't imagine that you're racing hard in that heat and that salty air coming at you.
Oh, no.
Yes. The answer is yes, my friend.
So it must just be the flattest area anywhere in the country, because that's where they do all that stuff at.
I believe anywhere in the world.
And, yeah, any sort of, like, rocket testing or anything. They just, right out there on the flats.
That is true. They are right out there on the flats, and they will test for speed. Here's Jeff. Jeff, you're on Run Fez.
Hey, buddies. A bunch of us were at the gym one day, and there was like probably a group of midgets that came in, and they were like midget bodybuilders. And there's nothing funnier than a midget bodybuilder.
Last thing I'd do if I was a midget is attempt to fucking do anything else. If anything, I would smoke and drink and bite people's legs when I fought with them. I'd fucking bite them right on the legs every time I fought. You know why?
Why?
That's what I do now. So why would I change? Why should I go adapting?
Wonder how much...
You know what? Notice on this show I got to ask people to ask me why instead of staring at me. I get the feeling everybody on this show is like that RCA dog, where they hear a voice and are just looking at the speaker.
No, I was just wondering how much those midgets could bench press. I mean, 80 pounds, 100 pounds, 150.
Yeah, it's all different weights, aren't they?
These are things I'd like to think about.
Yeah. Here's Rocket. You're on Run Fez.
Hey, Fezzy, I was wondering, would you consider adopting a midget baby?
Why don't you do this? Just adopt a midget, put him in a bonnet, and then every time that the adults turn around, he's smoking a cigar in front of you. That fidget has a cigar!
I wonder how that movie Little Man did overall. That was with the Wayans brothers trying to pull that old Little Rascals gimmick.
Sean, you're on the Run Fez show.
Hey, how far you think you could throw a midget, Ronnie?
I don't know how far I could throw him, but that's as much as I would trust him. Literally as much as I would trust him.
A midget seems really dense, like a low center of gravity.
No, that's a dwarf.
Oh,
the dwarf is the dense one. Midget's going to be much lighter. You're going to be able to throw a midget a lot further than a dwarf. A dwarf, you're lucky you don't get fucking thrown yourself after he's done biting your legs.
Yeah, dwarf seems like he would be close to just the average person's weight anyway.
You could probably throw a midget further than a baby, I would think, because they're firmer.
That's insane.
No.
A baby's going to weigh 10 pounds tops.
Doesn't matter. The midget, the way he's constructed and built will allow him to be more aerodynamic than the baby who wiggles and bobbles their heads.
You're going for the funny shock thing instead of going, 10 pounds against 90 pounds.
No. Vern Troyer doesn't weigh 90. Vern Troyer probably weighs 40 pounds.
Look it up, would you, IMDb? Let's try to get a weight on him.
You think Vern Troyer wears 90?
I have no idea what he weighs. I know he weighs more than the baby.
What I'm saying is...
Did you see him when he was on Surreal Life when they had to when he pissed on the floor and they had to try to pick him up? 2 guys that lifted him. They were fucking... It looked like a struggle.
He went complete dead weight when he got drunk.
Well, he's not allowed to drink.
Why not?
Not for the midget toss. You can't drink. You have to be sober. But if he does listen to instructions, he'll stay like a ball.
Chris, you're on Run Fez.
What's up, guys?
Hey, they got a new show on A&E. It's about dwarfs. And there's a difference between a midget and a dwarf. And the dwarfs, their bodies aren't, part of them won't grow. They even got to put this stent in their head where their brain matter, they got to drain their brain matter out that runs down into a tube in their stomach.
I don't think you want to drain brain matter.
That is not. To me, that's not like a...
Did you have this done to you?
No.
Okay.
Like a normally functioning dwarf, it doesn't have to go in and get his brain drained every once in a while, does he? I mean, I can't... That
was the first call I've ever heard on it. Hey, Clay, you're on a Fez.
Yeah, how are Asian people not considered midgets?
There you go.
I mean,
There's a good
on the
point.
whole, it's not a racist, but on the whole, there's a lot of short people in China and the rest of Asia.
And I'll tell you something else. There's a lot of short South Americans. I see guys working in my neighborhood. I don't think most of them are 5 foot. You probably are tall for being Ecuadorian, right, Johnny?
Yeah, about. Like the usual cutoff point is about 5'2", so I'm like Shaq out there.
You're all drenched in your Cincinnati hat and colors today, right?
Yeah.
You feel like it's their year?
No.
They may be one of my early teams to pick. Now, don't mean I'll be rooting for them, but I think they're going to go far this year.
I don't think so. They got too many off the field problems, man.
Off the field problems, you know what that Britt does? Brings the team together.
I don't think so. Not
Brings
this
the team
one.
together.
Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, thank you.
2001.
Yeah, that's actually my team right there.
Who are you looking for this year, Giants?
The New York Football Giants.
Yeah,
Eli will get us 12-4.
This year we're going to be talking a lot less football because I can't just have Homer talk. Where Earl will yell out about his Jets.
No, I'm realistic about the Jets. If they're 8-8, I'll be happy. But because
why would you be happy with a fucking 500 year?
Well,
why wouldn't you yell another 500 fucking year?
No, go from 4-12 to 8-8 with a new coach, a new line. And I'm realistic.
I will not be watching football this year. I made up my mind. But every Sunday I will watch the film Invincible about Dick Vermeil.
Starring Greg Kinnear. I think the Saints are going to do something this year. With if Reggie Bush starts out strong and having Drew Bledsoe as a quarterback.
Drew Brees,
sorry.
Saints are going nowhere.
This is where we were last year. And then remember when we have that guy on Festival, we go, Lex, and what about this game? And the guy would talk for 10 minutes. What about this game? I had a fucking pizza last year. I'm thinking Reggie Bush bust this year. I really do. I think he's going to have a very difficult time adapting.
I disagree. That boy's the truth, man. He can run.
You know what? I would have believed you right up until the wet-ass hour. Right until it was time to win that Rose Bowl. And I saw the fucking fear in his eyes. Earl, I see you clapping along.
No, when he screwed up that play, his head was completely...
Throwing the ball behind him like a fucking child?
Yeah, once that play was done, he never got back into that game. His head was never back in that game.
I will never find myself rooting for Texas. And I'm going like this. Texas is going to win this goddamn game because of those bums. Those fucking bums are going to bring joy to Texas. And goddamn if they didn't.
Vince Young's going to go nowhere, though, either. In fact, this whole rookie crop, not good.
You're looking for all this shit to bed.
Matt Leinart is going to get destroyed. He's going to be the 2000 version of Scott Mitchell, that big, tall, lanky left-hander.
Yeah, I don't see it happening for him either.
No, I disagree, though. He has weapons down there in Arizona. He's got Edgerrin, he's got Mr. Bolden, he got Mr. Fitzgerald.
You ever see that guy throw a pass? He fucking rainbows every single pass. He has one fucking play. Run down far, jump high, and I'll get the ball to you. That's all he did.
Yeah, but he's got tall receivers, so that would work for him. It's like if you had Randy Moss.
Not in the pros.
That does not work in the pros, my friend. That's a very fucking dangerous play because you've got athletes on the defense. For some reason, college football, every athlete plays on the offense. There's no athletes on the defense.
He throws like a duck. Every duck. He doesn't have a tight spiral to save his ass.
Yes.
You can tell him I said so, too.
Yeah, we already...
You tell him. No, Matt Leinart, if you're listening, come on.
Matt Leinart is listening with a single tear. Don't fucking believe this has happened before I even get the opportunity to prove myself. I didn't watch any of the game last night.
I watched some of it. Raiders won. They beat the Eagles in the Hall of Fame game 16-10.
Again, is that the Raiders? Is that the Eagles? No. I hate to call them that in the preseason. I'm not going to deal with that.
I watched, I think it was in the second quarter, Jeff Garcia for the Eagles. He was taking some snaps, and they just buried him in the backfield.
Jeff Garcia, where's his latest cup of coffee? This fucking guy's going town to town like a stand-up comic.
I don't know what happened to him. I heard John Madden talking a little bit about his bust because he's going, he went to the Hall of Fame, and so he was really proud of his bust and called his own bust handsome last night.
Yeah. I don't know if I can take another season of Madden.
I don't like him and Al Michaels. I never did.
No, me neither.
Get Pat Summerall back with that great voice and everything.
Well, since they've taken his lungs out, it's a little difficult to stay there. I'm more of a Pat Summerall, Tom Brookshire guy, but maybe that's a Philly deal. I like two guys that would actually sit in the booth and drink together. Here's Hank's Laugh. You're on Run and Fez.
Yo, the Lions are going to do good this year.
Is this
just like
J-Dubs calling?
Tattoo.
Yeah.
Huh?
Is this J-Dubs calling? Poor J-Dubs. Every year he picks those fucking bums. Every year he picks those bums. And they find a way of disappointing.
They usually have some decent draft picks, and everyone gets excited, and they'll even win a few games at the beginning of the season to get Lions fans excited.
Aaron, you're on Run and Fez.
Yeah, I want to agree with Earl. Jets all the way, man. Tell that Fungi that we'll go Jets all the way.
Yeah, let's go Jets go. Yeah, that's why I fucking hate football, the homer talk. It's just homer talk. We'll take a break. Run and Fez.